Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. Welcome back to Love and Junk. I'm Laura.
I'm John.
This is Rookie.
Hi, Rooks.
And we are here to review The Tiger King.
Oh, yes. Rookie loved it.
Rookie did watch it with us.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure you've heard of The Tiger King. Most people, I think, have, especially during this time of quarantine, right? Where everybody's watching TV. That's what a lot of people have to do. We're certainly watching more than we used to. And we had heard of it, but then people close to us said, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. You got to watch it.
It's a train wreck. You got to watch it.
Right. So we did. And it is a 7-episode mini documentary.
Right.
And we live in the Quad Cities. So we are in Davenport, Iowa, and I have actually, I don't want any hate, I'm just being real right now. I actually have visited Joe Exotic's
traveling
show at our local fair, and I had a good experience with that.
How long ago was it?
That was 2013.
Okay.
So, he came to our local fair. Hi, Rooks.
See ya, buddy.
And you do get your picture taken with a baby tiger, and you get to hold it and whatever. I thought at the time that I was I'm just being real with you guys. Like, I thought at the time I was doing something cool, a bucket list thing, right? Like, when else would I have the chance? I didn't think about the whole... Then they continue to breed baby tigers to feed the engine of making money. I didn't understand at the time that actually when I was sitting in the cage with the tiger, they told me that window of being able to do that is only a couple of weeks because they don't allow you to do it when they're itty bitty. So there's that sweet spot when they're kind of toddlers and you can hold them.
Yeah, and they won't eat your face off.
And it's not long before they don't allow that anymore. When we got into the little pen, they had several pens going all at once. They told you to sit with your back to the wall so that the tiger couldn't get behind you because they will go for your throat.
Even that little.
Yeah, and it was this big. So anyway, side note, that's just my personal story with the Tiger King. And so... The documentary is about this guy that has this traveling show, and he has a wildlife park zoo in Oklahoma.
Yep.
And it's mainly big cats. He also has alligators, monkeys.
All kinds of exotic animals.
Right.
Yeah, he is a gay polygamist, so that just makes the show interesting right there. He's flashy.
Not only, yes, and his husbands are much younger.
Right.
Than he is. Oh, by the way, we should say, we're not going to hold back anything here, so spoiler alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so if you haven't watched it and you don't want it to be ruined, come back and watch this later after you've seen it. But so he likes them young. He likes to carry some guns around, and he likes to... he's flashy.
Definitely gun-toting, flashy, gay, polygamous. Very interesting guy. I mean, you can't call him boring, that's for sure.
Right, and he draws you in, right? As part of... I mean, that's the appeal of the show. You want to know, what is this guy going to do, and what's going to happen. So it's about him, and on the other end is this woman named Carol Baskin. And Carol Baskin also owns Big Cat Rescue. Yeah,
and she puts her farm, it's not a farm, like a zoo out there as it's like a rescue thing, like for these animals to be rescued from places like Joe Exotic's place. But it seems like her place is just as bad and it's just as shady as everything else.
Well, I think what she is saying is she's giving animals a place to live, and she's not breeding cats to be handled or to
Right.
be sold or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't really know who's telling the truth through the whole thing. Everybody forms an opinion about
Right.
who is telling the truth, but she is trying to be, so I'm not going to tell you my opinion yet, but she's trying to be peace, love. I'm trying to save cats, and he's kind of greatest showman kind
Right.
of look at what I have created kind of thing, but both in the name of exotic animals.
Right.
They have a feud, and she has her first husband goes missing and never to be found again.
Right.
No body. And this was a long time ago.
And yeah. And so Joe spends most of his time railing on her, doing social media and different videos about her, and claiming that she killed her husband and fed him to her cats.
Right. Also, there part of it is another claim is that she put him in the septic tank because they were building a
Right.
septic tank around the same time. She is very quirky too, but in a different way
Right.
than Joe is. So anyway, it's about the two sides. But then there's all this cast of characters that work for Joe, or that come into the documentary for different reasons, and it's
It's definitely a circus. It is a circus.
yeah. So Joe has two husbands,
Yeah.
and something happens with both of them.
Right.
One of them leaves him for a woman and says that he was never gay,
Yeah.
that he just kind of was with Joe for the appeal of the animals and whatever. The other one kills himself
Right.
in the documentary.
Right. Yeah.
And that is not shown on camera, but somebody watching it happen is shown on camera at the instant that it happens.
Right.
I was not sure. You guys, if you've seen it, tell me. I didn't, and you tell me too. I don't know if we've talked about this, but I did not get a good sense of if he was monkeying around, because he was also on a lot of drugs and stuff.
Right.
I didn't understand if he was just playing around with a gun and it was an accident, or if he did it on purpose.
Yeah, I think that's up to interpretation because they definitely played it off in the show, like he had been depressed and like
And a drug user.
and just like just using drugs like crazy, like meth and different things, and that had really messed his mind up. And they'd also talked about that he wasn't gay either. That Joe just like kept giving him drugs and stuff, and so he also gave him gifts and a place to live, and then there's the cats.
Well, when you're an addict and you're getting a place to live and a place to get your drugs from,
Right.
I mean, I don't know firsthand, but I assume that that's really hard to say no to when you have a problem.
Well, yeah, and especially like meth. I know from my experience from my job that meth makes people do things that they normally wouldn't. I mean, like people can get their kids taken away from them and they just can't get off of it and will keep using it and they'll lose their kids forever.
Right. So I think on the, what do they say? Murder for hire, mayhem, something else. So it goes from this feud between Joe and Carol. It shows Joe with the husbands, and then it turns into something else.
Yeah. And one of the things Joe talked a lot. He had his YouTube channel. He had his own like show, and he would talk a lot about Carol Baskin, and he would say things like somebody should do this or somebody should do that,
or he'd have a dummy of Carol and he'd blow it up or whatever. So he was very vocal about him not caring what happened to her.
Right. But they also showed clips of him saying that this feud between the two of them is really good for business for both of them.
Right.
That they both have made a lot of money off of the social media and the bashing and the feud between the two of them. And so, part of him was saying that this is a really good thing. But then there came a lawsuit where Carol Baskin sued him, and then Joe ended up owing a bunch of money to her because he lost that.
Right.
So she kind of had him over the barrel with that.
And he got desperate because those businesses are not easy sorry, to keep running. What do they say? It costs $10,000
a year per tiger.
per tiger.
And he
Right.
had a lot.
And that's not including lions, alligators, monkeys, himself.
Yeah, or that's just food. That's not any other type
That's
of
not
care.
vet care. If there is actual vet care, there's a lot of self vet care going on there. Oh, we'll get back to the murder for hire thing. Let's talk about food for a second. I found that so interesting / disturbing.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you? We didn't talk about this part either,
No.
but Joe had, and I don't know if other places do this or if they even do it anymore, but they would get stuff from a Walmart truck. They specifically said Walmart that was full of expired meat. Not just expired meat. Somebody said if you take chicken up to the register and then you don't get it, like once it has left the cooler, that Walmart can't sell it anymore. I'm not saying that that's true. I don't know that that's true. I'm just saying what they said in the documentary.
Right.
So then they would get truckloads of these things, and Joe would let his people go through the truck and see what they wanted, and they lived...
That's what they lived off of. That's what
they
ate.
lived like in little trailers on the property all together in, filthy conditions.
Yeah, all right.
And this meat that's meant to, I don't know if it was donated or he purchased it, I can't remember, but this meat that's meant to feed these creatures,
Tigers and lions and whatever.
Now people are eating, which that's one thing. I don't know if it was for human consumption, if it was even supposed to be. But also, Joe would take that food and have barbecues and feed the people coming to the zoo and whatever. And people are like, oh, the pizza he made was full of stuff from the Walmart truck. And
Oh, yeah.
anyway.
But, yeah, they fed the lions and tigers that... it was expired food, but good for them, I guess. But
They also got beef from some local
right.
farms and whatever. Okay, so back to the murder for hire thing.
So
he was he was going on record all the time saying somebody should do something about Carol Baskin.
Yeah,
and
if I ever see her in front of me, I'm gonna shoot her in the face.
Well, I can't remember now. You guys tell me, or you tell me. Didn't he say she does videos too? They're both attention-seeking individuals, which is funny. So they both have a YouTube presence, and Joe was filming a reality show, so there was like a TV producer around at all times. She shows herself riding a bike along this path, and they look up and they do Google Earth and see where the path goes and how close they could get. To try to take her out.
Right.
And he says something about it while he's being recorded.
Right, yeah. But
like somebody could.
But then what complicates the thing is there's this other guy that comes in because Joe's having these financial problems.
Because of all the legal issues.
Yeah, I think Jeff Lowe, is his name.
Yeah.
So he shows up, he's got money, and, he starts, taking over things, and I'm a little confused whether he actually becomes a partner or something, but later on down the line...
Well, the zoo ends up getting put in his name.
Right. So Joe puts the zoo in his name to protect it from the lawsuit from Carol Baskin.
Right.
And so what happens though is this guy has been in Joe's ear the whole time, hey, you should really do something about Carol, and he brings this guy on the property that is the second you see him, you can tell he's a career criminal.
Yeah.
And like some tough guy or something, and I mean, my impression is they kind of talked him into things or talked to him about it and got him recorded saying, yeah, go there and take care of it.
Right. Yeah.
And so then
And it was only for how much money? It wasn't very much money.
three grand.
Yeah.
Like how do you pay somebody $3,000 to kill somebody, you know?
Right. Not that there's any amount of money that is worth a life. I don't mean it like that, but I mean, I would think that people would do something like that. I mean, I don't know how the crime scene works or whatever, but I certainly would guess that somebody's life and the not a life.
The
There's
risk.
no amount. The risk is worth way more than $3,000.
Right.
So that's what I meant.
Yeah, and that's all that Joe could come up with. And
But the guy agrees to it.
the guy agrees to it, and he's on his way to
Florida.
go do it in Florida. And, you know, magically at the same time, this guy, Jeff, talks to the feds, and the feds come in.
Trying to save his hiney, obviously.
And then, you know, he ends up calling the guy who went on his way, and he's like, don't do it.
All while being recorded.
Yeah, don't do it. Come back. Talk to the feds. Tell them what Joe did. You'll be fine. I'll be fine. Everybody will be fine except for Joe. They're going to arrest him for the murder for hire thing. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, he goes and talks to Joe. Gets Joe on recorded saying, you know, you did this murder for hire thing. And so Joe takes off.
So here's the thing.
And the guy gets a zoo.
So here's the thing. We're saying that we're spoiling it just in case you haven't seen any of it, but we're really not. Nobody really knows what happens to Carol Baskin's husband.
Right.
You can't believe any of these people when they're talking. You kind of feel like you're being lied to by everybody.
Yeah, every single one of them seems
Right.
shady.
Right, on all sides. So you don't know what happens between, you know, like with the Carol Baskin thing, you don't really know between Joe and what was his name?
Jeff, I think.
Jeff. You don't know really what happened between them.
Right.
Joe is very charismatic and he's a good talker. And so a lot of the episodes, he's doing voiceovers from his prison calls.
Right.
And he is adamant that he absolutely had nothing to do with it.
Right.
But anyway.
So, yeah, anyways, at the end of the day, Joe's locked up.
For how many, like 20-something years?
I think so. He was found guilty, I think. So, and then Joe's locked up, but this Jeff guy ends up with his zoo.
Right. And at the end, they show them tearing down the zoo and rebuilding, like on the same grounds, right?
I think they moved down the road. I think
okay.
they moved it completely.
So, anyway, and also at the end, there's all these other people that had something to do with Jeff or Joe along the way, and it sounds like there's more to come. Another season, another couple of episodes or something.
And I think, didn't you see something somewhere that said that there might be a season 2 because more and more stuff keeps getting revealed?
Right. Yeah, because Joe was just arrested last year.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, now's the time they're all, you know, he's trying to save himself.
Right.
And there's definitely more to the story. Carol's still out there doing her thing. So, I don't know. I found it interesting.
It was like a train wreck you couldn't look away from.
The other thing is, aside from the story, I love animals like that. And so you get sucked in because they're beautiful to look at.
Right.
But there's also little stories about the animals. Aside from all of that going on, there is a scene where they don't show it happen, but somebody that works for Joe loses an arm.
Yeah. Yep.
So they don't show that happening, but they show how Joe responds, which is bizarre.
Right.
Bizarre. He goes and gets like an EMT jacket on. And they go off to the hospital. There's another part where Joe is in, what do you call it? A pen, a cage. It's not a cage. It's like a...
Yeah, a paddock or...
Right. With lots of ligers, tigers, lions, all kinds of big kitty cats.
And they were filming.
Yeah, somebody standing outside filming him. I don't know exactly what he was doing, but one tiger or liger is very interested in one or both of his shoes. And you see it kind of, messing around.
And
then,
he thinks that somebody sprayed something like perfume on his shoes.
Well, he said sardine oil.
Oh, yeah, sardine oil, something like that.
So you don't know if that happens, but it's really interesting. He starts freaking out, and I think he was trying to get a shoe off, but couldn't. So he takes out a gun, and you're terrified that he's going to shoot this creature in the head. You don't know what's going to happen.
It grabbed him by the foot and drug him. So
Right. So I think, didn't he shoot his gun? He didn't shoot the animal.
I don't think he shot it.
Okay. I thought maybe he shot the gun and it went away. But he took his gun out.
He took it out. He shot the gun. I don't think he shot the tiger.
No, yeah, he didn't. For that for sure. But I'm saying when you watch it, that's what I was preparing for. It's very intense like that.
Yeah, and my reaction to that, I was when we were watching it happen, I was like, oh no, he's going to shoot the tiger. He's going to shoot the tiger. And it made me sick to my stomach a little bit because they are magnificent animals.
Well, here's the thing, right? This is why you can't stop watching the show. I don't want to see somebody get eaten by anything. Also, I don't want to see a beautiful creature be put to death for doing something that's only natural to them. People shouldn't be in with them like that.
Right.
But the other thing is somebody's videoing it from outside. There's people around, and Joe starts freaking out with this when this animal is dragging him. Nobody yells. Nobody from the outside, and they all carry guns.
Yeah, nobody helped
shoots
him.
A gun. Nobody says anything. They just watch him get
Yeah.
dragged.
He had to get up and hobble himself to the gate by himself, and these tigers were stalking him.
They were all, you know how you see lions kind of, what do they say? They circle and then come. They were all kind of lined up and walking with him. There's several times in this documentary that you think, okay, how could they make 7 episodes about this? And then something else happens.
Yeah.
On Joe's property, what was the thing with, he has a fallout with the guy that's filming and producing a reality show that he's filming. And all of the equipment, all of the footage and everything is in this building that also houses reptiles.
Right.
And they have a falling out about, Joe finds out that he actually does not own
any of the footage.
Yeah. And then that building blows up.
Yeah, it magically burns down, and all of the footage is lost.
Footage, equipment, and all of the animals are lost. So anyway, if you've watched it, let us know what you thought. What did you think of it?
It was riveting. I mean, it's amazing that this is all going on. And one of the things that amazes me the most is one of the things they say in there is that you could buy a baby tiger for $2,000.
Yeah.
That's it? I can have a baby tiger this whole time?
A baby. And that'd be great for a week or two, right? They're beautiful. We showed you our cat in the beginning. We are cat people. We are animal people. We want to protect them, but at the same time, it does bring to light what is the right way for humans to interact with animals. And it brings up another thing that it said, I can't remember the numbers now, but there's definitely, tigers have been endangered, and there are more tigers in captivity
in the United States
than there are anywhere in the world, and so there has to be a fix, right? There has to be a way. If we can breed them and help save the tiger population,
Yeah.
then there should be a way that we can breed them in, help with that in the wild.
Right.
But that's what these people should be focusing on. That's what, saving them.
Right.
Anyway, I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was riveting, like you said. I
Yeah.
could every night. We didn't sit down and binge the whole thing, but every night we certainly watched one for a week. And I mean, we're all home watching TV anyway, so it's worth a watch.
Absolutely.
So
Check it out
yeah,
if you haven't already.
which I'm sure a lot of you have. Let us know what you thought of it, and let us know if you think Carol did it.
Yep.
And if you don't follow us over on Instagram, over there we're Love and Junk with no D. So it's LOVEANJUNK. Hit the subscribe button while you're here. Why not?
Please, yeah.
And don't forget to hit the little bell.
Ding.
So you can be notified when a new episode of our little story here comes out. There's some other things. We're home watching a lot of TV and movies now, so we'll have to review some other stuff.
Heck yeah.
And if there's anything you think we should sit down and watch, movie or TV show, let us know in the comments. And
Oh, go ahead. Do your thing.
if you like big kitties or little kitties
Yeah. I like little kids.
or animals in general or crazy, even if you take a side, you think somebody's crazy in the show
Right.
or everybody.
Everybody in that show is crazy.
Yeah. Let us know what you thought. But while you're here, give this video a big thumbs up. And that's all we have for today.
That's it, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.